Hey guys, welcome back to another That's Debatable episode. This time I have two amazing guests here to talk about the DACA situation and how it relates to consumer confidence. So I have with me the #1 Hispanic agent in all of Arizona, recognized through NAHREP, which is the National Hispanic Association of Real Estate Professionals, Daniel Barraza.
Good to be here. Thanks for having us.
And then I have his business partner, who I first met as my client.
That's right.
Yes, his name is Modesto Lopez. And he actually has this amazing story that I think is just going to break all of these crazy misconceptions that people have about childhood arrivals here. So I am so excited to jump into this, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So Daniel, will you tell me just a little bit, because I don't know if everyone knows I know of you, and you're definitely a celebrity here, but I want everybody to know who you are and what your business is about. Can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. So I got my real estate license in 2011. In 2008, I had a job, a salary type job, and I got laid off, and the economy was pretty hard. And when I got laid off, I was losing my house. I did a loan modification on my house, and during that time, my brothers were going through the same thing. I did a loan modification on their houses, and one thing led to another, where I started helping people do loan mods, helping the community. At the time, I was a youth director at a big Spanish church on Thomas and about 35th Avenue. And so I was heavily involved in the community, and I was able to see a lot of the Hispanic community be taken advantage of during this time. They were being defrauded just thousands and thousands of dollars during the down market. These foreclosure fraud schemes that was rampant during that time, and seeing the Hispanic community go through that and being involved in the church, I wanted to help them and serve the community, find options to either save their homes or find options when while they're losing their house. So I did loan mods, and in 2011, to offer better options or solutions to the clients. They wanted to do short sales. So I got my real estate license in 2011. So when I got my real estate license in 2011, I hit the ground running, helping the same community with short sales when I first got my license. That's kind of my story, how I got into real estate, and been helping predominantly the Hispanic market. I mean, I help everybody, but the large portion of my clients, I would probably say 85, maybe 90%, are Hispanics.
So you got in 2011, which is kind of an interesting time, because shortly thereafter there was a lot of legislation regarding the SB 1070. And if you guys aren't familiar with what that is, there was some legislation about some aggressive action taken to remove undocumented workers within Arizona. You can Google it. And so that was like a really crazy time, because we were going through this like real estate recession and the whole economy really. And then we saw another like mass exodus of our population happen. In fact, there's sections of the city like Maryvale that have yet to recover from that mass exodus, and the value just still hasn't recovered there. What was that like, and then how does that kind of relate to the situation at hand?
So I was able to see two sides of that. I was able to see, because I was also, like I mentioned, I was a youth director during that time at a big church, and it was in 2012. So we saw church membership drop 40%. That's almost half of the church membership was wiped out because there was a massive exodus. And then also on the real estate side, there were a lot of consumers that were a lot of worry. They didn't know what was happening, even though a lot of homeowners were here legally, but they had a lot of family members, or they just didn't have that confidence of what was going on during that time. A lot of them felt like they weren't welcomed here, and that is kind of the same happening with the whole DACA thing. In the last 18 months or so, or a year and a half or so, where we get a lot of these news and a lot of these outlines, right, that are coming out of the DACA. If they're gonna stop doing DACA, they're gonna stop doing this, and that same confidence that was back in 2012, with all these consumers being unsure and feeling unwelcomed, and a lot of them wanting to leave. So I feel a lot of that happening today as well.
So I think the biggest thing with, because like if people are going to talk about like the opposing side to this, is that, you know, like undocumented population bring in a lot of crime and a lot of things that go under the table. They're uninsured. I mean, there is some validity to all of those claims, which is why this topic is so heated. But I feel like there's this just really challenging misconception with like, you know, people who contribute to the economy, people who are homeowners, how it relates to the economy. And Tina touched on that a lot. But what I think is just like really missing here is, you know, there's this very human aspect to like what's going on here. Like we're talking about children that were brought here before they even had a choice. They've lived here their entire lives, been educated here. Most of them speak predominantly English. Mm-hmm. Yes. And they come here and then they get educated and they go on to do really great things. So, Modesto, that's a lot about your story. I'd love for you to kind of relate what that is. Like,
yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's the story. You know, I came here when I was 10 years old. Obviously didn't speak the language. I came here without a citizenship, a U.S. citizenship. And, you know, I felt unwelcome at the beginning, like most undocumented people that moved to the United States. And my journey was, you know, at the beginning, you know, the first 10 years or so, whether this was my place to be, you know, whether this was my country. But, you know, I was fortunate enough and lucky enough to find a way to get my citizenship. And you know, I went to college, graduated top in my class. I'm a biomedical engineer. I was very fortunate to, you know, be hired by the top consumer company in the world, which is Procter Gamble. I had an amazing career of almost 10 years with them as an engineer, but then I did business management. I managed the Crest and Oral-B brand for them in Latin America. Was lucky enough to live in Panama City for a few years, then Mexico City. So definitely, you know, I would have qualified for the DACA if I didn't, you know, have my citizenship before. And I'm definitely, you know, the success story or the American dream, if you will, by being able to, you know, to get my education, being able to contribute to this economy by obviously paying my taxes. You know,
and you pay a lot of taxes, right? We're talking about you're like a 6-digit income earner. You're paying in the highest tax bracket.
Yeah, and I'm single, so that's the reason why I pay more. But of course, you know, I pay my taxes. I've been able to, you know, invest a lot in terms of buying properties myself. So
you've bought like over 12 properties though in like the entire time that you've invested in real estate within Arizona.
Absolutely, around that range, if not more. And you know, I guess it is sad that a lot of people think of DACA as individuals that, you know, they're not educated. I can tell you that I know a lot of DACA friends that I've been able to meet through the years that they're engineers, they're activists, they're very involved in the community, helping Hispanics, trying to change this image that they have of, you know, people that are criminals. They're not criminals.
I mean, and with that said, though, I mean, like, you can't get DACA status if you've ever had, like, a serious misdemeanor or a felony, right? So we're talking about literally educated, employed people.
Educated individuals that are hardworking, that the only thing they want is an opportunity to get an education the same way that I did, you know. To be honest, I didn't know I was going to go to college when I graduated from high school, but my GPA was the best, one of the best, top 5 in my high school, that I was, when they told me that I was going to ASU and I got a full ride, I was like, hey, let's do it, you know. And they told me, what do you want to be? I was like, I want to be a medical doctor. What is the career that's going to get me the fastest to there? And the counselor is like, biomedical engineer. And I was like, sign me up for it. He's like, no, you shouldn't do it because it's going to be hard. I was like, I don't care, do it. And to be honest, that's why I did biomedical engineering, not because I was passionate about it, but because that was the opportunity that I had, and I wanted to be a medical doctor at the moment. And I never looked back, and like I said, I graduated top of my class, and it's not that I'm bragging, it's just that is the situation. I was here to prove myself and to prove my family that I could do it, and I know a lot of individuals in the same shoes as me, and we need to come out and change that misconception that DACA students or DACA individuals or undocumented individuals, are not doing good. They're not doing good for the economy or not contributing.
And having said that, like, you've done all of these super amazing things. You were one of Daniel's like #1 clients, and then you guys became business partners. But now as an entrepreneur, you get the opportunity to then hire more people that then help the economy. And then now you're doing, really, really great things for growing this brand. Daniel, with that, right? So we've heard his incredible story and just, what would be your message to people like him when it comes to like investing and how not to be afraid? Because obviously that, we've seen this kind of legislation happen and then not pass, and then, and then all of those missed investment opportunities, these missed things. Like, what would you say to people, right? Because, God forbid the worst happens. Like, it's still a good time to invest no matter what, right? Because then they have this thing that they can sell, like just you can own property anywhere, right? They can't take away your ownership and property. What would you say to that?
Right. A lot of it is people don't know their options.
Okay.
And so, and see, and that's the reason why when I was helping people out with loan modifications and then got my real estate licenses to offer those options as to do short sales, a lot of people didn't know what we're going through a tough situation when the economy was bad in 2008, 9, all the way through about 10, 11. During the down market, people didn't know their options. People were losing their homes, and they say, well, what now? And it was, the economy, it's what drives the economy is a lot of emotions. And one of the biggest, strongest emotions is fear. Well, what now? Well, what's going to happen now? And it's just this matter of offering hope. Look, I know you're losing your house, but here's hope. Here are your options. This is what we can do. In 2012, like we mentioned, SB 1070, a lot of people were having a lot of fear. A lot of people were leaving. A lot of people, can I even sell my house? Of course you can sell your house. It's under your name. You can get the equity out. Of course you can. There was all these
just
fear.
People who abandoned.
Who just walked up and left.
Just walked up and left. Just abandoned properties and never even took advantage.
Because they didn't know their options. So
Exactly.
a lot of things is giving options, giving hope. Here are your options. Here are what you can do. Sorry to interrupt you, but and also nowadays for the DACA, right? A lot of DACA students there's options, and a lot of them don't know that there's options. A lot of them think that they cannot buy a house, and which is not true. There are options out there. So it's just giving them their options. Here are your options. Here's option A. Here's option B. Here, depending on your situation, and depending where you want to accomplish, and depending where you want to go. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I was just gonna compliment that the people. I guess the Hispanic community, in general, and mostly the people that have family members or, friends that are undocumented, live in fear, regardless whether they have the citizenship or not. There's this fear of like, are we okay?
Yeah, they're gonna take my citizenship away.
Right. There's people that think that can they take my citizenship away, and the reality, because we don't know the options, like Daniel say. So one of the things that we have done over the time that I partner with, that I've been partners with Daniel, is educate those individuals, and we have helped a lot of DACA people buy their homes, family members buy their homes that they didn't even know that they can buy. So what we can say to the Hispanic community is that there is a lot of options. There are people like us that are helping them, that we have the best interests, and we feel pride. We feel pride, and we feel good when we're helping these individuals finally be able to purchase something that they can consider their own. So that's the main thing that we like to do, to just be able to help them and provide with the options and the education that they need.
So with that, you guys are big on like home buyer seminars. You do a lot of Facebook Live videos. What does that look like now? Like, so if people want to get more familiar with things that you're doing and the educational things, like, how can they find you? What kind of activism are you guys involved in now? Like, what does that look like?
So I'm on the board on NAHREP, National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. They can find us on Facebook, the Barraza Team, or my name, Daniel Barraza, or website, barrazateam.com. So they can find us in any of those avenues. My phone number's on there, email's on there. And then my Facebook page, the business page, there's a lot of activities that we do, like you mentioned, the buyer classes, home buyer classes. So there's a lot of activities and events that we do to help the community out and educate the community.
Awesome. What is NAHREP's like main objective? So like when people say, oh, you're a part of that, like what is the main objective? Is it to, bring awareness to Hispanic home ownership issues? Is it to promote the there's obviously the issues that prevent them, and then there's the encouragement to then go out and buy. Like, what is the main focus? Is it everything?
Is it all that? Yeah, and it's also a little bit more focused towards real estate professionals, is helping them and empowering them, and educating them so that they go out there and empower and educate the community.
Yeah, and there's been tons of studies that like home ownership changes the trajectory of people's economic statuses, right? Puts them in better schools. It gives them the opportunities to have better jobs, right? These are all the things that I think that people have issues with. And I think that promoting organizations like this and giving us more attention, right, then promotes like a longer trajectory for improved statuses for everybody involved, right? Like if we want more economic input from this population, right? Like getting them buying homes and contributing in this way and investing in their futures is probably the way to do that.
Right, and then the thing about Hispanics is the American dream, right? One of the biggest American dream is to own a house, and that brings a lot of stability to the Hispanic families. Is going from renting to owning, and we when we hand keys to clients, it's a very special and emotional moment, is handing those keys, because you can see it in their eyes and you can see it in them, is that I can't believe, and a lot of them will tell us like, I can't believe this is real. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is done. It's because that brings that stability in the home. So not only financially, because it is better for their financial future, but it's for their own stability in their family, in their household, and their builds the confidence to go out there, continue to work, and to go out there and continue to contribute to society in positive ways.
Yeah, I was going to mention confidence. It gives them a lot of confidence. It's something that, is they feel that they finally made it, and I don't know if that a lot of people can relate to that, but to be able to say I have a home is like, oh man, I did it. I did it for my family. I did it for my kids. And like most of us, when we own something, it's not mainly for us, it's for our future, for the kids, for the family, and it's one of those things that you can see in their face, that the confidence is just there, and it's just amazing to be able to help them and be able to be part of that and see that happening. So my thing, the one thing that I will say is that any individual that has questions or might feel afraid of what's happening with DACA or whatnot, and just talk to people like us, people that can really educate them and provide the options that they're out there. There's I know a lot of agents sometimes that they don't even want to help them because they're even afraid of helping them. So there's something there that we need to change, and I hope that this conversation does a little bit of that, that provides that hope that we need to give.
That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Is there anything else, like last sentiments, that you really just feel like you want to get out there?
I'll let you go first.
I think I just said it. I think I just said it, and and thanks for having us. Thanks for bringing this topic to the table. I think that not a lot of people want to discuss these things, and I don't know. I'm not sure if it's fear or what they're gonna say or what not gonna say. I mean, in reality, at the end of the day, like, we are here to do business, but it's business with a purpose, and with the purpose of actually helping people. And so thanks for bringing this topic to the table. Thanks for having us. And because this is what we need, just have the conversation.
Yeah, and I want to add a little bit to that is beyond real estate, right? Beyond buying a house is just being somebody that gives hope, because life gets tough, right? And having a ministerial background is what people want to hear. What people want to know is there hope? And of course there's hope. There's always hope. As long as you have life, there's hope. And we just want to, not only ourselves, but encourage people that, anybody listening to this or watching this, is be somebody that gives hope and give options, and don't just look at the bad situations that just happen in your life, whatever it may be. There's always hope beyond whatever situation you may be in or whatever situation you're at right now.
And I just want to thank you guys, because I know that there are so many people, like I've been trying to get this video done for literally 6 months. And I can't even tell you how many people are like, oh, I don't want to be associated with that, or no, I don't want to talk about this. And for me,
not us.
I know. Well, I'm from Nogales, Arizona. Like I am literally from this. My dad's from Hermosillo. He's unfortunately he's passed, but he was a Mexican citizen also. Right. And so like for me, like I grew up and half of my friends qualify for this. And I know that there's always two sides to every discussion, every debate, and there's very real things that have happened that have promoted some of these stigmas and stereotypes and the fear, right, on the other side. I just think it's so super important to align ourselves with things that we believe in. And if we're too afraid to talk about things like this, then think about all the people we're not helping. And if there's somebody out there who's going to go, oh my God, I can't do business with them because they support this, I was never your person to begin with, right? So I just really appreciate you guys for doing this, for being brave and bold and serving the community in such a huge way.
Thank you for doing this. This is amazing. This is good to get this out there. This is really good.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. So I hope you guys tune in to another That's Debatable, where we talk about all things hot topics within real estate. Tune in next time. You can find all of the show notes and contact information below, and I'll see you guys soon.